You're listening to the Get Out and Drive podcast, fueled by AMD, with your hosts, John CustomCarNerd Meyer and Jason Old Car Guy Carr. We'll be bringing you gearheads everything you never wanted to know about cars and why they should be on the road and not in your garage. Are you ready to get out and drive?
Get Out and Drive podcast is here again at 2024 MCACN with Bruce Bartie and this wonderful aluminum lightweight Dodge.
63 Plymouth.
63 Plymouth.
Lightweight. And all credit goes to the original owner of this car, whose name is Charles Doyle.
Okay.
Doyle.
Yeah.
And he bought the car from Gates Motors in Indianapolis in 1963.
Sure.
He ordered the car with the 13.5-to-1 426 max wedge engine,
Okay.
an automatic transmission, push button, and a 489 gear ratio.
Okay.
It has the aluminum front end, which consists of aluminum fenders, aluminum grille support, aluminum gravel pan, aluminum front bumper brackets,
Wow.
and aluminum hood and scoops.
So it's all a whole package that you could check the box, and you knew what box to check. You could certainly do it.
Right, and that package was the lightweight package, and it was a $687 package
So it's
in
pretty hefty,
1963.
pretty hefty on top of the price of the car. Because
And-
the car's just a stripper base model, and that's a pretty hefty tag.
Yes, and then the engine was 13.5-to-1 compression, 426 super stock engine, and that was $695.
Ah,
So he basically,
he spent all of his money on those two things
yes,
because he knew what boxes were cool.
yes, and his only other two options were the Sure Grip differential and a single driver seat belt.
I see. Now, does this car, I know it's a lightweight, how much less does this weigh than a standard?
It's about
Vehicle.
180 pounds that's taken off the front end,
Okay,
and the battery also got transferred to the trunk as well.
okay.
And so, again, for weight transfer, so the battery being in the back and the 180 pounds off the front end made these about a second faster than the steel cars.
Wow, that's a pretty good chunk.
Yep.
That's a pretty good chunk. It's, for everybody that's watching, this is an original paint car. All the lettering and everything is all original to the car.
Yes.
And you told me it is under 100 miles.
Yes, I bought it with 98.7 miles.
Quarter mile at a time.
Charles Doyle raced this car at Muncie and at Indy Dragways. He originally lived in Indianapolis, and he flat towed this car, and I have the original tow tabs and the tow bar.
I saw that.
He flat towed this car with the drive shaft removed.
Okay.
So all of the mileage on this car was racing mileage.
Wow.
And you can tell that this is an original aluminum car that was raced, because when you look at the aluminum fenders,
I see all the elbow dents.
you have reverse pocks also in the paint from the stones coming off the front tire on the return lane.
I see.
So you can tell that it was driven actually like this.
Wow.
And the elbow dents from setting the valves in the car,
Yeah.
that they're all original, which is what you would see on these cars.
Wow.
And again, it's the original air cleaners, original carburetors, manifolds, heads. Everything's original there that you see.
Now, you said because he's quit driving it, his wife didn't want him to race it, and all the original parts were with the car.
Yes, the only thing that I had to source was an engine block for this car, because the engine block had been cracked.
Oh, okay.
So Jerry Stein out in New Jersey, who's a very famous max wedge racer, had in his possession an original 63 high compression block that he actually took out of one of his own race cars to put in an industrial block in its place.
Wow.
And he sold me that original 63 max wedge high compression block.
Again, planets align.
It's aligned, and he sold it to me because he found out what the provenance of this car was.
Right. And it's amazing to see this car in original paint.
Yes.
And to understand how dainty these fenders are.
Yes.
On everything that's in this lightweight section. How dainty everything is. It is amazing.
So then you have the ambition to look at this and say, well, there's a little bit of deformity in the fenders or in the hood,
You
and
don't fix
you
anything.
take it to a paintless dent guy and have him start a pry on it. Well, with the materials that they use to fix the dents, there's nothing to pry against. There's no internal
everything's
structure.
Open. Right, everything's open.
And if you start to pound on it from beneath, you know, you end up with more deformity.
This is the history to me. This
Right.
is the history of the car.
Right.
Go full with it.
Exactly. And when we got it, it was the same thing. And the front bumper's the same thing.
Yes.
That's a steel,
That's a
thin steel front bumper,
thin steel bumper,
which weighs about 5 pounds.
that is light.
You can hold it with one finger. And
Wow.
they're factory aluminum bumper brackets, which
Okay.
are part numbered under it.
Okay.
And they also have all the little sheet metal brackets
right,
to
very
stiffen it.
thin, just to hold it in
Yes,
place.
yeah, for show, basically.
Now, what was drag racing times on this car when it was new?
They ran in the 12s, and he was able to actually run this car in the low 12s in 63 and 64.
Wow. I was moving for then.
Well, that was super moving for then.
I
Yeah,
was moving.
yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. All original interior,
Yep.
everything. Original.
It's called an alabaster interior. That was the original interior. It's original headliner, door panels. It's the original super stock carpet. It has no backing to it.
Okay.
It's all lightweight carpet. You could either get it with a rubber floor mat or the carpet, and the carpet was actually lighter.
Okay.
So that's why he optioned that. Here's this optional seat belt that he optioned.
I see.
And the Fords also used this same seat belt.
I see.
And it basically was a slip-through buckle
Yeah.
like this,
Like an
airplane.
aerospace kind.
right? So that was sourced, and that was one of the only additions.
Yeah.
It's a push-button transmission, and there's a lot of discussion on the internet and such that these were reverse valve body, reverse shift pattern. They had a stall speed converter.
None of that's
None
right.
of that was true.
Okay.
These were all correct shift pattern.
Okay.
They were not manual valve bodies. You could make them into that, but it wasn't that. And they had a fairly standard stall converter in them.
Nice.
They all came with 391 axle ratios. He ordered a 489. The dealer put that in.
Wow.
And the reason we knew that is because when we first went to pick up the car and it had flat slicks on the back and flat front tires, we were changing out the wheels and tires to something that it would roll, and the axle shafts were reversed. So the left-hand studs were on the right and the right-hand studs were on the left. So at the dealership, they put the axles in wrong because they're similar axles. So anyway,
find out why the lug nuts are so tight.
right. So anyway, we were able to remedy that. And again, the brakes I left all the original brakes. The shoes were in perfect condition. The drums were in perfect condition. I resurfaced the single pot master cylinder and sleeved it with stainless steel.
Okay.
And I also had to do something with the gas tank. There was a big surprise with the gas tank. I was had it on the lift, and I was taking down the original gas tank. We siphoned the fuel out of it, and it was Sunoco 260 from 1965. The receipt was still in the glove compartment that he had filled it for $5.
Oh, wow.
And the gas was still blue, and I got 9 gallons of gas out of it. But when I took it down, I was looking through the trunk floor in a little circular hole at the bottom of the trunk mat. And I thought to myself, there's no rust in this car.
Why does that have a hole in it?
So I pulled the gas tank down, and in the top of the gas tank, there was a 2.5 gallon cooking pot that was brazed into the top of the gas tank at full depth. And what that allowed him to do is he would pull back the trunk mat. He could put up to 100 pounds of lead shot in that,
his counterweight tray.
and then basically close it over with the trunk mount again, and nobody was the wiser.
Sneaky Pete.
So, and that's rear of the axle, so he got better transfer with it, and it was towards the left side.
Yeah.
So, so there was a couple little modifications
That's
there.
pretty cool.
Yep.
That is pretty cool.
So that was a surprise to me. But other than that, and he had also put a sun tack. The original sun tack that came out in '63 would actually fit in that center bezel hole. Okay. So he had taken out the temperature gauge and put a sun tack in there. Okay. So I took the sun tack out and I put the original gauges back in there. But that's the original bezel with the heater delete and it's a radio delete, of course.
Wow. What a wonderful, wonderful car. It's amazing it survived.
Yeah, there's a picture of the original gas tank we took down. And that's the pot that's brazed into the top of the gas tank. And so you can see that's a cooking pot, and it was just brazed around there. And when we pressure tested it, it leaked vapor. Yeah. And that with a battery in the trunk's not a good combination. So there is a new stainless steel gas tank in this car.
Bet. That's pretty sneaky, and that's cool.
Yeah,
that is pretty cool.
So that's one of his little secrets with this car.
Well, thanks for chatting with us about it.
Absolutely. And I'm glad everybody's receiving it so well, and it's been really fun having it here. And thanks to Bob Ashton for this wonderful show.
MCACN 2024, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Here's your reminder to support the companies that support your right to get out and drive.
Auto Metal Direct is a premier manufacturer of high-quality restoration parts for classic American cars and trucks. AMD offers a wide range of components, including body panels, trim, glass, weather stripping, and much more, crafted to meet or exceed original equipment specifications. Be sure to visit autometaldirect.com as you get your ride ready to get out and drive.
What drives you?
With National Get Out and Drive Day 2024 in the rearview mirror, we're looking out the windshield and focused on Drive Day 2025.
National Get Out and Drive Day will be held on October 5th, 2025. Sign up now at getoutanddrive.com to receive your free official decal.
Let us know how you'll be celebrating National Get Out and Drive Day. If you are part of a car club or having a car show that you want to promote National Get Out and Drive Day, let us know and we can send some decals for everyone.
Send us pics of your ride and we'll feature them as part of our National Get Out and Drive Day promotions.
Show your support for National Get Out and Drive Day by becoming a sponsor or including Drive Day in your show listings and company calendars.
Let's get out and drive in 2025.
Cruise on over to our website, getoutanddrive.com, for all the info you never wanted to know about our podcast. Hit us up on our listener hotline, be the first to know what's happening, get industry news, and grab your Get Out and Drive merch. Connect with us on social media. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow us on X at Get Out and Drive Pod. Are you ready to get out and drive in 2025? Get those cars on the road on October 5th, 2025 to celebrate National Get Out and Drive Day. Visit nationalgetoutanddriveday.com for more info.
What drives you?